Genshin Impact is genuinely one of my favorite games. Like, I've been playing it almost every day for the past 2.5 years. I just love the combat, the open world, the story, and especially the characters. Shunha, for example. She's meant to be a cryo support for cryo DPS characters, and yet I have her on a full physical build. Even in Genshin, my creativity knows no bounds. So today, I will be using a full team of Pokemon based on characters from Genshin Impact. If you like this kind of Pokemon theme team content, then feel free to subscribe. I upload this kind of content twice a week, and it would genuinely help me out and my channel as well. Now let's get right into the battles. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today, I am using a Genshin Impact team. Now, I'm doing this team for myself because it was my birthday recently. So I wanted to do a team for myself, and I really love this game, so I'm using a Genshin team. Now, if you have an idea for a Pokemon team that you would like to see, then feel free to comment it down below, and I will use it. And I have 2 interesting battles as always, and I hope you enjoy them. Now, I led off with my Choice Scarf Hillichurl for the Primeape, and I took out the lead Salazzle. That is like max health Primeape as well. So I'm gonna bring in my Primo Gem for Glammet. Shiny Staryu was probably like my best pick for the Primo Gem, but I ended up picking Glammet, which does have the same colors as the Primo Gem. Now, this is a very offensive Glammet with Rock Polish. I do like half to the Gliscor. I'm also running a Focus Sash on this set, so the Gliscor is gonna go for the Earthquake, and that's also gonna help me set up the Toxic Spikes on the opposing side, and I could be able to 2-hit KO this Gliscor with the Power Gem as well. So the Primo Gem takes out the Gliscor. Now, this team is a general team of like, the only playable character on this team is the Traveler. I have both Aether and Lumine on this team, and so the idea was that I should use this team as like the general like characters and like currency and like the most common like things related to this game. And then maybe in future videos, because I do want to make more Genshin teams, I'll do each of the selective regions. So I'll have like a full Genshin team based on Mondstadt characters or Liyue characters or Inazuma, and so on and so forth. And maybe I could do that like at the end of every month. Let me know what you would think about that, by the way, because I love this game and I want to continue doing Genshin teams. So I'm gonna go for the Stone Edge on the Gyarados. Now, this is a pretty interesting Gallade set. I don't have any Fighting Stab on this or Psychic Stab, and that's because I wanted Aether and Lumine to have moves that equated to all of these 7 elements. So, for example, my Gallade has Aerial Ace for Anemo, Aqua Cutter for Hydro, Stone Edge for Geo, and Ice Punch for Cryo. So I wanted both of them to have like the 7 elements, and so Gardevoir has the rest, and I'll explain that later. So I'm gonna swap into my defensive Floette here for Paimon. Actually, the Ditto Aether attacked Paimon. That's not supposed to happen. So this was really funny. So the Electivire comes in, gets poisoned. I'm running a fully physically defensive Floette, but that still does quite a decent chunk of damage to the Electivire. So I thought here, if they have the move that I'm thinking that they're gonna have, then this is gonna be really funny. So I'm gonna go for the Protect, and they do have Supercell Scam. I was like, that's perfect, because this Electivire is gonna take like 50% of its health, and then it's gonna go down to the poison damage. Oh my gosh, this Pokemon is like the saddest Pokemon ever. Poor Electivire. But Paimon, everyone give it up for Paimon for taking out Electivire, by the way. So the Metagross comes in. I'm gonna get absolutely heavy slammed, and that's gonna take out Paimon, unfortunately. But I really needed to weaken this Metagross for my Golden Go in the back. So I'm gonna bring in my Gallade here again. I'm running Terra Flying on this with Expert Belt as well, because I just have a bunch of random coverage moves on this set. And I also have Sharpness, and Sharpness boosted Aerial Aces and Aqua Cutters are pretty decent. So I'm swapping in my Mora here. You know what? I've had enough. I'm gonna bring in my money, and I thought I'd include the Primo Gem and the Mora just because they're 2 different kinds of like currency. One is like for like wishing, and the other is like the actual in-game currency to spend on things. So I'm gonna go for that Hex. I'm Terra Ghost Hex. This is a Thunder Wave Golden Go, and I'm gonna take out the Metagross. So the last Pokemon is Ditto. I'm fully expecting this Ditto to be Choice Scarves as like always, unless they're like Sash. And this Golden Goat is running a pretty interesting item. I have the Kasib Berry, which weakens super effective ghost damage, and I'm gonna be able to eat up this Hex. The Golden Go couldn't go for Thunder Wave as well versus me. I'm running a Thunder Wave Hex Golden Go with Make It Rain, of course, because it's more I have to Make It Rain. And I have a Recover as my last move, and this is like an offensive Golden Go. So I'm gonna take out the opposing Golden Go, the opposing Ditto, and that's the end of that first game. So I wasn't really able to show off Lumine in like that game, but now I'm going to be able to show her off in this game. And this game was so, oh my god, this game. So I'm going to lead off with the Primeape against the Porygon Z, which is going to Terrasilize immediately, which I kind of expected because of the fact that they're running a mono normal team. So I was like, okay, well, I'm running a Choice Scarf Primeape. I have a Close Combat U-Turn, Gunk Shot, and Final Gambit on this. So I opted to go for the U-Turn just in case the Porygon Z was Terra Ghost, because it is a very viable Terra option for this Pokemon. And so they're going to go for the Shadow Ball here. And I figured it was adaptability because they didn't get any like download boosts and anything. And I'm able to tank that at the very least. So again, like I said, I want to do more Genshin Impact specific Pokemon teams. And I do have a lot of ideas for... I've already made the teams in advance for like Mondstadt and like all of the future regions and all of the future playable characters. So if that's what you're interested in, if that's what you would like to see, then please leave a like on the video. I'm not going to set a specific like goal or anything like I do with the Pride Flag teams, but depending on how well this video will do, I will move forward and do the future Genshin Impact teams. Or maybe I'll do them anyway, because this is one of my like current fixations. I love this game like a lot. So my Paimon's gonna get taken out there by the Porygon Z, and I'm gonna bring in my Golden Go. So I thought here, well, I have my Cassib Berry. I should be able to live a Shadow Ball from this Porygon Z. I imagine that they're not Choice Specs, that they're Choice Scarf. So I really want to slow this down and go for the Hex next turn if they'll allow it. So I'm gonna go for the Thunder Wave and paralyze the Porygon Z. So that completely neutralizes it. It was actually a really big threat. This team is like really, really weak to ghost types. So I'm going to take it out with the Hex. Thank goodness they didn't swap out as well. And that's the end of that Porygon Z. So I was like, that's a really threatening Pokemon out of the way, which is nice. Now in comes Ursaluna. Now this Pokemon is also a huge threat. So I thought, you know, I'm just going to go for the Make It Rain. Get as much damage on it as possible. I do some really good damage on the Ursaluna, but they're going to take me out with the Headlong Rush. And I was like, that's fine. I have Lumine to Revenge KO this. And they are going to be the Guts Ursaluna as well with the Flame Orb. So I was like, okay, well, this Gardevoir set also does not have any like Psychic or Fairy Stab either. So this is a Calm Mind Salac Berry Gardevoir. I traced the Guts. Lumine has a lot of Guts right now. And I have Energy Ball on this for Dendro. I have Mystical Fire for Pyro. And I have Thunderbolt for Electro. So Gallade and Gardevoir together have all 7 of the elements in their moves, which is actually really interesting. So obviously not having Stab is like really terrible, but like I thought it would be really fun. So the Eevee absolutely tanks my Thunderbolt. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like especially defensive of Violet Eevee. So they're gonna set up the Wish and they're going to try to recover their health. I'm going to go for the Aqua Cutter here. Man, if this Gallade had Fighting Stab of any kind, like if it had like Sacred Sword, this game would have been over by now. But the Eevee is going to recover his health and they're going to continuously yawn me. So I was like, well, obviously I don't want Aether to fall asleep. So I'm going to bring in my Primeape here. The Eevee goes for Fake Tears. I was like, oh my gosh, they're cooked. They're so cooked. I have Defiant on this. So now I'm going to be able to get a +2 close combat on basically anything. And so I just take out the Eevee with the close combat. That was just bullying. So there goes the Eevee, but there actually is another Ditto in the back, which is definitely Choice Scarf. That's amazing nickname, by the way, Goober. It does look like a Goober. So I was like, I really don't want to risk the speed tie because Primeape has such a good matchup into the rest of their Pokemon. So I swapped in my Gardevoir again. Now my Lumine is pretty defiant right now. And I should be able to take this close combat just because I 4 times resist it. And I do. It does less than half to me. So I was like, okay, well, I don't envision that they're going to stay in. But my best move is like have Energy Ball and Thunderbolt. And the Snorlax is going to come in. So I was like, this Pokemon is a really, really big problem. So going for the Energy Ball here, and like Energy Ball doesn't do very much damage to the Snorlax, and it's going to be leftovers as well. So I was like, They're definitely like, I would assume that they're definitely like a cursed Snorlax, right? So I'm going to swap into my Gallade, and I just want to scout out how much damage I'm going to do with the Aqua Cutter, because the Aqua Cutter with Sharpness Boost is definitely like my most powerful move against this. So they're going to get off that curse, and they're going to increase their attack and defense. So now this Snorlax is going to be really, really bulky on both sides. So this turn I was thinking, well, I want to see how much damage Aqua Cutter is going to do, and it does like nothing, but it does like not as much nothing as I thought it would do, if that makes sense. So this Snorlax is like physically defensive with Curse. So I was like, okay, well, I'm running a Modest Nature on my Glamet, so I'm gonna swap that in. Hopefully they don't go for Body Slam, but if I swap in my Glamet, I should be able to do some actually really good damage with the Sludge Wave, considering that this Snorlax is probably not especially defensive. So they're gonna continuously set up the curses. They're gonna be very bulky in defense. At this point, my Terra Fighting Primeape isn't really gonna break through them, and they're easily gonna be able to take me out with the Body Slam. And my Primeape is actually looking really crucial versus the Snorlax, because I could go for the final Gambit versus it. So they're gonna go for the Body Slam. That is going to easily take me down to my Focus Hash. Sludge Wave does good damage, so I was like, okay, as long as I get off another Sludge Wave, I should be able to go for the final Gambit on my Primeape. And I'm not sure if the Snorlax it's very close. I think the final Gambit, the Snorlax has a lot of health, and the Snorlax needs to be at like 60-ish% health in order for final Gambit to take it out. Unfortunately, I get paralyzed by Body Slam, and the paralysis just absolutely screws me over. I wasn't able to get off another Sludge Wave, but they do set up 2 layers of Toxic Spikes, which is nice, but I don't think after Leftovers recovery, the Primeape's final Gambit is going to be enough to take it out, because it's looking like it's around like 70% HP. So this turn I thought, well, this is unfortunate because of the fact that I need to weaken this with Lumine. Please disregard the ability Lumine Trace, by the way. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to go for that Thunderbolt. I really am doing this in order to put it in range of my Primeape's final Gambit, because at this point, I'm thinking that my Gallade might have a good shot at this endgame. So the Snorlax is going to get more Leftovers recovery, but I thought I'm going to go for my Hilichurl and take out the Snorlax with the final Gambit. Maybe in hindsight, I should have went for a final Gambit first and then taken it out with the Gardevoir, but like, I wasn't sure if they might have gone for like a recovery move, and it was going to be really close on whether or not Gardevoir would have taken out the Snorlax after the Leftovers recovery. So I'm going to swap in my Gallade here, and they're going to swap in the Ditto. Now, I wonder what their reaction would be if they saw my set and they saw that I was like no fighting or no psychic moves. But I have Terra Flying this turn, and I figured that the opposing Gallade would want to set up the not set up, but they would want to go for the Aerial Ace this turn. So I'm going to Terrasilize into a Flying type, and Terra Flying Aerial Ace should easily be enough to take out the opposing Ditto. I thought Gallade and Gardevoir matched like Aether and Lumine very well, obviously, because they're siblings, and they're kind of, Gardevoir and Gallade are kind of like in the same evolution family. I know that they're not exactly blonde, and that's like a key aspect of the Traveler, but I really couldn't find a good Pokemon that was like blonde, that was also like sibling like in a way. So the last Pokemon is Chansey. I was like, depending on how defensive this Chansey is, it's gonna be really tough, but they are very defensive as I can see with the Aerial Ace damage, but they go for the Thunder Wave. I was like, oh my gosh, that's really interesting. If they went for 2 Seismic Tosses, I would have lost easily, but now I have a chance, because with the Toxic damage, Aerial Ace might be a 3-hit KO. So I'm going to go for that Aerial Ace and hit that Chansey again. It does some good damage. It's looking like a 3-hit KO after the poison. So they're going to go for the Seismic Toss. I'm on 15 health. I'm like, okay, one more Aerial Ace should do it, and I should be able to win this game. But I get paralyzed. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they Thunder Waved. They should have just Seismic Tossed 2 times. I would have won. But I don't even know what to say. This game was so I don't even have any words. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile. I will see you all next time.